this After Effects tutorial, we're going to recreate this cool looking rain scene using a few elements, including ccrain effect. So first you want to drag in your footage. This footage I just found on YouTube and the link should be in the description. Then I want to drag in some rain looking effect. Now this link right here, this rain, is in the description also. I just found on YouTube. Now what I want to do first is I want to track my scene. So I'm going to go to Animation, Track Camera. And if I go to Effects, I can see it's initializing right now. Now it's done and created my tracker point. Now I'm going to right click, set ground plane to origin, right click again, create solid and camera. So the green solid is tracked to my scene, and what I want to do is I want to get the rain tracked to my scene also. So if we click on our rain effect, go to toggle switches, I want the mode to be on add, and then I want to go to toggle modes again, and I want to make this a 3D object. Now if I hit P on the track null, R and S, I just want to bring up all the position data, copy, command copy, and then I just want to paste it into our rain effect. And then I want to scale this up. I want to hit R on my keyboard, and I want to try to get this back to normal. Okay, so far it's tracked to our scene. Now let me get rid of this red plane right here. I don't want to delete it in case I need the same data points from it. Now let me duplicate this, and I want to put the rain a little farther back in the scene. And I want to get my mask tool, and I just want to cut out here and hit F on my keyboard and feather it out a bit. And I don't want this rain over the car, so let me just mask this out. After it's masked, make sure you click on your mask you drew, and then we want to have it at subtract. And then I'm going to make sure I hit F on the keyboard and feather it out a bit. We should have something more like this. Now the next step I want to do is I want to have the headlights shining through the rain. So what I'm going to do is right click, new, solid. I'm just going to call this rain. And then if I go to my effects and presets and I type in ccrain right here, I'm just going to drag it on. Now this is a simulator rain effect right here, and we can adjust as much as rain as we want as possible in here. We can even do the speed. Now for my settings for this particular footage, I just want my drops to be more, and maybe I want the size of the drops to be a little less, maybe 1 pixel. Bring this down a bit. Now I'm going to right click and pre-compose this right here, and I'm going to make the mode to add, just like the first example we did. Now we have a lot of extra rain, but I only want the headlights shining through it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to double click on my footage. I'm going to go to tracker. If you don't have tracker, just go to window and you can find it right in here, tracker. Now I'm going to hit track motion, and I'm just going to track the headlight right here. Go to the beginning of my frame, and then I'm going to click this button here, and it's tracking it. And then I want to put this tracking data on a null. So I'm going to right click, new, null object, and then I'm going to hit edit target. I'm going to find that null that's right here, and I'm going to click OK, and then I'm going to apply the XYZ. And now we have our null with the tracking data applied to it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the rain comp, and I'm going to pip whip it right here. So this rain is going to be following this scene like this. Next step is clicking on the rain we just made, and I want to click this pen tool right here, and I just want to create a path of a headlight. So starting here, it's going to go forward, expand a little, get smaller here. Now this is messed up, and the reason that is because our rain is not in the comp. So I just want to copy this, delete it out here, go in our rain effect, Command V, putting it in here instead. Now if we go back, it should be working. So now we have the first one done, and I'm just going to do a second one right here. Now I want to make sure I hit F on the keyboard, and I want to make my feather maybe around 40. Then if I go to effects and presets, I'm going to put a curve on this, and this is going to brighten up the rain. Now I feel like this is too much rain, so I'm going to tone it back a bit in the pre-comp right here. Now if I move forward through the frame, I can see this is off on the headlight, so I'm just going to hit M on my keyboard, go to the first frame, and my mask path right here, I'm going to put a timestamp on it. And if I go to the end of the scene, I'm just going to drag this right on this headlight. And if I go to the beginning, do the same thing for the next pink layer right here. But it's already seen pretty good track with that. Now I'm going to duplicate this, hitting Command D. And I want to delete this curve right here. Hit M on the keyboard to delete the path. And this will add some more rain to our scene. Now the next thing we need to work on is this window right here. And we need some stuff hitting the top of this, bouncing off to give it more of that rainy feel. So I'm going to drag in some footage right here, and I want to just take the first frame of this and I want to apply it right here. Now this is some random footage I found on YouTube. The link will be in the description as well. So I'm going to pre-comp this right here. Just call it rain window. I'm going to go in the comp and I'm just going to add a freeze frame to it because I don't want it to move at all. Now what I want to do is I want to have this tracked on this scene. So I'm going to do the same technique of this null right here, but it's going to be up here tracking. Now let me position it right on the window. And then I'm going to make sure this is on add. Now I'm going to go to effects and preset and type in BEZ for Bezier warp. I'm just going to throw it on here so we can warp it to how we like. Now after that, I can see the track isn't very good, so I'm just going to hit PSR on the keyboard or just double click here. And I'm going to put a timestamp here and go all the way down, and I'm just going to align this back up, maybe scale it up because we're scaling in. Okay, now that it's tracked on our screen, let's go ahead and mask this out right here. Next thing, I'm going to duplicate this rain over here and I'm going to apply it on the windshield so we can have some water hitting it. So let me duplicate this right here, our original footage from the beginning, and I'm just going to scale this down and throw it on the windshield. Now here we have our window like this, and I want to apply the same technique to this side of it. Now after our two windows are ready, let's do the front hood. I'm going to duplicate it again and just throw it on it. Now after I duplicate it on the hood, I'm just gonna select all these and put it in a pre-comp right here. And if I go and hit this, it should bring it back. Now I'm able to mask all of them at the same time. Make sure it's set to add again. Now one important effect to add to this thing right here is some water resistance on the top. You know, when something hits something, water, it usually splats up a bit. Now I couldn't find any examples of this on YouTube, so I had to build my own right here using CC Particular. Now the template for this right here is for our Patreon members right here. We can adjust this however we want, or for our Patreons we rendered this so you can just drag in the footage when you want. So right here, I'm gonna make sure this is gonna be set to add. So let me just drag this in. Now this effect I'm gonna put right below the windshield so it looks like some rain is hitting it and bouncing off of it. Now I want to make sure this is tracked to one of my window nulls right here. And here's what that looks like so far. Now let me duplicate it again. And I'm just gonna move this to the top of the bar because I want this to look like it's hitting the roof of it. And after that, I want to mask it out because I feel like it's just too much showing at the top. And here we have this realistic look of the rain reflecting off the top of the car right here. Now in the future tutorials, we're going to create this cool rain reflecting part from scratch using CC Particular. Now I'm going to duplicate this again and I'm just going to throw it in places I feel like it needs it, like maybe one in the back. Now to make the headlights stand out more, maybe I'm going to make this a darker looking footage. Now for a cool lightning effect, right click, new, adjustment layer, go to here, type in curve, and then we want to make sure this brightness is all the way up like this. Now I want to splice this up every other frame like so. And how I'm cutting this is just hitting Command Shift D right here. Now I want to delete every other frame. And then let me just throw it somewhere random. Now if it's too strong, just hit T on your keyboard. And let's make this 57%. Now it's looking a little more realistic. Now usually dark rainy scenes have a dark blue look to them. So we're going to create another adjustment layer. And I'm just going to put Lumetri color under it. And then I'm going to go to my creative right here, and I'm just going to select SL Blue Moon right here. And here we have it, how to do the rain effect in Adobe After Effects. And don't forget, the project files are in our Patreon in the link in the description.